Hi, I'm Bill Donohue, president of the Catholic League. Joining me today is Michael McDonald. He's the director of communications for the Catholic League. I'm going to talk today about a big issue embroiling Major League Baseball. We're not talking about home runs and pitchers either.
Yeah, I wish we were, Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees are top of the division right now, but bigger concern, this started out in San Francisco. The Giants, they were having their Pride Night, and a number of players objected to this, and they wrote some biblical verses on their hats, and the world has kind of exploded. MLB saying there's certain rules, you can't write things on your hat, so on and so forth. And a lot of people have gotten involved. Probably the most famous person to get involved is Senator Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri. He wrote a very strong letter to MLB. But you wrote another letter to MLB. You took a very different tact, and I think it's worth talking about that a little bit because a lot of people on our side sort of seem to miss the bigger picture that's at play here, and you actually laid it out very well. Could you explain a little bit?
Well, thank you. The Senator Hawley has done great work on religious liberty for a long time. So I was glad to write to Rob Manfred. Not the first time I've written to him. He doesn't particularly care for me. Maybe if he got his act together, he wouldn't hear from me so often. But I wrote to Rob Manfred in support of Senator Hawley. I'm not going to repeat that all right now. But I'm just saying this. When you really want to deal with an issue, you have to frame it the right way. In other words, you have to be exact in terms of your criticism. If you're off the mark, then you're not going to score. Give you an example. A lot of people are saying, well, don't Christians have rights as well? Of course Christians have rights. And people say, well, so do the baseball players and the MLB to say that we should have Pride Night. So they're both equal. Well, we're not talking here about people who object to, let's say, an African American night,
Right.
or an Irish night, or an Italian night, or a Buddhist night. These are people who don't have any kind of behavioral significance attached to them. It's not inherent. When you are talking about Pride Night, you're talking about an agenda which involves behaviors which people who accept biblical injunctions, they find it morally offensive. So it's not analogous to saying, well, I don't like Puerto Rican night, I don't like Irish night, I don't like German night. You're not complaining about gay people per se. You're talking about an agenda which inexplicably and ineluctably tells us that you have to be approving of a certain set of behaviors. When you talk about people in terms of races and ethnicities, you're not talking about a set of behaviors. Certainly they will commit and be involved in a set of behaviors. But here, when you're talking about the LGBTQ thing, you're talking about certain forms of sexual experimentation and acts, and dealing with the whole drag queen thing. That's what all part of this. We don't need to affirm that. And I think we have to understand we have a right to object to any behaviors. We're not dealing here with the actual person per se. And that makes a difference.
Yes. And another thing that makes a difference, the way you set it up, is if we just focus on, well, the Catholics, the Christians, they have rights, they should be able to express themselves, we're going to lose the battle, right? Because we're not framing the issue as you just laid it out so perfectly. And it's just so important that people on our side, that when they get involved, they set it up so that we can actually win. And that's the most important thing.
Right. And we're not talking about gay people being discriminated against in the workplace. Okay? That has nothing to do with behavior. You may just not like gay people, whatever. When we're talking about an agenda, when you take a look at the LGBTQ agenda and Pride Night, what it represents, they want you to affirm certain behaviors, which nobody has a right to ask me to approve of anything. I don't need to approve of sitting down and eating Brussels sprouts with people because I don't like the smell of them. That's not, so I think that people have to be clear. When we criticize, we have to frame the issue the right way. Otherwise, we will lose the argument. But in any event, kudos to Senator Hawley, and hopefully Rob Manfred and all the other people, all the owners of Major League Baseball teams realize this thing has gone too far. Nobody has a right to force people, because they have religious objections, whatever their religion, to basically the whole homosexual agenda.
Yeah.